Hi, I'm Pierozzi, and today I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to put a knob on the top of a lid. Okay, so last class we ended up throwing this, and I showed how this was created, and I threw this, and now we're going to start to show how these two guys come together. So the first thing I want to do is get everything centered up. So I'll go ahead and I'll take this lid just to make sure that it gets centered. Okay. Now you may already have it attached to the bat. Okay, that's pretty good right there. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get a little bit of clay. We're going to attach this to the bottom. And I always hold my hand on the top so this doesn't move. And I simply take the coil of clay and push it down. I don't jam it in there. I just kind of lay it there. We're just going to get this. It's going to be a lot of clay. You don't need this much. I'm going a little overkill. All right, that's good. Now in this case, sometimes I'll put a little bit, I'm going to trim this. Now I might be able to trim this without putting clay down in here, but I'm going to just put a couple little wedges in there. And you got to be careful with the wedge. If your pot is a little bit too wet, it may want to stick. So you just be a little bit careful with that. Sometimes people put little newspaper underneath here, but I think in my particular case, I'm going to be just fine. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim. Now for this particular job of trimming this and sort of completing this circle, I like to use this part of the trimming tool. And the main reason for that is there's less drag. If I'm going to use this thing and use this, maybe this flops off. So I'm just going to let the speed of the wheel do the work for me, and then I'm just going to slowly trim this off. So we're just going to just kind of get in there and let the wheel do the work. And you see these really nice ribbons of clay that are coming off? This is really a good time when to trim. When you see that, that's a good leather hard. And so I'm just thinking about that circle shape. And do you see how I'm keeping my hands? I'm keeping my hands just like this. So everything is still locked together, and it's sort of within this triangle that we keep talking about, how to hold your hands. I'm just going to let that wheel just speed along. Let that wheel do the work. And again, you see how that circle is just starting to develop. I can listen for the tapping. We're still okay. I'm just going to take a little bit more off. That's probably pretty good. Now you see those marks. If you don't like those marks, you can take your small metal rib, or if you've picked up an S12, you could just kind of skim that surface. Okay. I'm in love with this tool. This is one of those tools I just think is the best. All right. Okay, that's good. All right, so at this point, that's pretty clean. You may want to just clean this up just a little bit. Okay, that's good. All right. Now here's a little trick. I'm going to put a knob here. So what I want to do is go ahead and know exactly where I'm going to use my needle tool. So I'm going to hold it like this, and that tells me I'm right in the center just by creating that little thing. And I'll get my Sumi brush, and we're going to just go ahead. Let me scoot over here. I'm going to just add a little bit of water to this, and we're going to slip and score. Just do a little bit of slipping and scoring here. Now, when slipping and scoring, the real key to slipping and scoring isn't just making those marks. The marks are great, but it's really about creating little canals of water so that you get that clay nice and mushy, because that's where all the action is. If I simply make marks on there and throw that ball of clay on, there's nothing that really locks that into place. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my clay, and I'm going to get a little ball of clay. It may be a little big. Take a little bit off, but I'm going to take this, and here's the key. When you're putting these knobs on, if you've made this relatively thin, you might collapse your lid. So when I apply pressure, I'm not really pushing down as hard, but I'm kind of going this way. So I'll take this, and I'll apply a little bit of pressure down. All right, and I'm just going to kind of get that on there. See how I'm doing that? Okay, that's good. Once you've got that on there, and you can spin it to see how close you are, but I think we're pretty good. All right, we're going to give this a spin. And now I'm just going to add a little water. And my first movement will be a little bit down, but not, again, I don't want to apply a lot of downward pressure. And I'm just taking my hands, and we're just going to and you see how I'm just holding this all together. And you just let that wheel sort of, work its magic for you. Take your thumb. And depending on what you're looking for with the lid, we're going to go ahead and I'll take this wooden rib, just kind of clean this up a little bit. If you like that as a little finio, you can leave that. I think that's pretty good. All right. I think that looks pretty nice, right? So now we'll just take these guys out of here. And I'll clean that out, but that's how you make a lid. Thanks now. Okay, good. Thanks.